Hey there, y'all. Hope everyone is doing well. Wow, when you turn the camera on, sometimes you don't like what you see. Looking pretty rough right now, but it's real life, so we're just gonna roll with it. It's been a little bit since I've filmed a video, for reasons I will tell you about. So I'm just gonna, this is being authentic. This is just the way that it is right now. If you are just joining in, my name is Rebecca, and welcome to my YouTube channel update for this cancer situation I find myself in. So, all right. It's been a little bit of time since I have filmed an update. So I've gotten a lot of text messages and emails and things asking from family and friends and folks in the YouTube universe asking for updates and how I'm doing. So I just wanted to film a quick video about this latest round of chemo. So if you're new, I am receiving the HER2 positive regimen of the TCHP chemo, and I am on, I've had round 4, so I'm on week 3 after my round 4. So I typically film a video for the previous ones a little bit quicker than this. I've filmed them either a couple days or a week or so, week and a half after. I am now like 2.5 weeks past, 2 weeks past, I guess, 2 weeks past the round 4. And I'm going to tell you what, y'all, it has been a rough few weeks. This round has quite literally brought me to my knees over the toilet a couple of times. A little TMI, but it's just been really tough. I can feel the chemo wearing my body down. I am struggling here. So that's discouraging, but I only have 2 more rounds of this to go, so I'm just trying to keep telling myself that. My friends and my family, everybody's telling me that, and they're right. And honestly, I just, I appreciate it when they tell me that, because sometimes you just need people that love you to put things in perspective, and that's, what my people are doing. So I appreciate that. It's just tough. So this time, there's been like a few different things that have been a little tough. That I guess that have worsened. So this round, I had a new, I don't even know if I want to bring this up, but I had a new nurse that did my chemo, and her methods were a little bit different than my regular ones. And I'll come back to that in a minute, but same chemo, really. This time, I have been very nauseous the entire time, like even now, and nauseous, and I've thrown up, and I've lost a lot of weight this time. When I met with my oncologist, he actually brought that up about the weight loss. I think I've joked about this in previous videos. I have, a few lbs that I can drop anyways, but, the way that it's working with chemo, it's probably like not the healthiest way to like lose a bunch of weight and gain it back. What I will say is I don't think that I've gained it back. I'm on the week 3 where I typically what happens is, the first, week, like first on day 3 to 7 or so, I feel pretty crappy, and then I slowly start to rebound. I have felt really bad up until really today. And I still, if you look at me right now, like, I don't feel great. I don't have makeup on. This is literally just like, I'm survival mode right now. It's just, I haven't been able to really eat. I am literally force feeding myself right now because I have zero taste. Everything, even when I'm hungry, like, I'll be hungry and I'll want to try something that I know that I will like, but it doesn't taste like food. It's not appetizing. I can't swallow it. I can't eat it. And so I'm trying to, like, make myself find things that I can eat so I have something of sustenance in me. There's been a couple times where I've gotten smoothies, like tropical smoothies, and I've been able to drink those, but that's not like a real meal or anything like that. So hopefully in the next couple of days, at least I get a couple of days where I feel like I can eat food and taste food, because I just haven't had that. And we've had some amazing meals brought to my family in the last couple of weeks, which I'm so grateful for, because, I have 3 kids, and my husband and even my parents have been able to have some of that. I don't know what my wig hair is doing right here. The seed wigs, I don't know what that is. So sorry about that. I'm not a fan of wigs. This is a different one. Anyways, so, my appetite's been really crappy, and I've felt very weak from it, because when you can't eat, you just have zero energy for obvious reasons, and then it's harder to, it's just harder to feel better, and that's just what's happened this time. And my oncologist has said it every time. This is just, it's going to get worse every time, but it's a short period, in the scheme of things. Your treatment is short, and it'll get better once you're done with these 6 rounds. So I kind of feel like the next 2 rounds are really going to be tough. That makes me, I dread them anyways, but man, I'm just trying to get through them. I mean, and of course they're like right at the end of the year with my girls are at the end of their school year, and all of the things that are happening right now, dance recitals and softball and all, my middle child, Molly, she just made All-Stars, and, for softball, and, my oldest daughter has got her big dance weekend this weekend. Luckily, I didn't just have chemo, so I'll be able to see both of, like, her, she performs Friday and Saturday night, or Friday and Saturday, and I'll be able to see all of that, which I've only made one of her competitions this year. So I'm very excited that I'm going to be able to make that. So, there's just all, and then end of the year school things like field days and parent days and all of the things. It's just that time of year. So chemo just does not fit into my plans, but it's necessary, and I'm just griping. If you're going through chemo, I feel like you know exactly what I mean right now. This time of year is overwhelming as a parent in normal circumstances. Having to navigate whether or not you're going to feel well and whether you can be present is, just a real pain, but a necessary pain. So we are going to just push through it. So that's pretty much, regarding my side effects. I mean, they have been the same side effects that have just worsened, which shouldn't be a surprise to me, because I was told that could happen, and that's just, what we're dealing with. What I will say is we did have a complication this time with my chemo, that is very frustrating. So when you get chemo, or when I get my chemo, they give you like the regular infusions, But then they also give you a shot that is supposed to, I think it's like Suselex or something with an S, that helps with the nausea. And then they give you Neulasta. And the way that I get the Neulasta is there's like a little device. I think I've talked about this before. A little square device that they attach to your arm. And it gives you an injection like 27 hours later after the chemo. And that's to help like boost your white blood count. And then you can take it off. Well, when I get those, when I've gotten them in the past, I've gotten the shot and the Neulasta in my left arm. Well, I bruise I bruise pretty easily. So every time I get a Neulasta shot or Neulasta, that device put on me, I have a bruise. So like I have bruises on the back of my arm from all of those. So when I went to get my chemo last time, I had bruises on my arms from those. And the nurse was looking to see where she was going to do my nausea shot, which she did kind of in a weird order, I guess. But anyways, so whenever, it doesn't really matter. When she gave me that shot, she was looking for places in my arm. And for some reason, she decided to give me the shot like close to my elbow, which is not normally like where they do that. And it's kind of a weird place. And I kind of made a comment to her, but she did it. And, you know, I'm not the nurse. And it hurt, and it hurt for a couple days. And when I went back a few days later to get fluids, I was really feeling really bad. Like I said, the nausea stuff this time really hit me hard. And I went to fluids, and where she had given that injection, I had a bruise like the size of a softball, maybe bigger, on my arm. And it had like a hard center part of it. And my dad was there with me, and I showed it to her, and I was like, I've never bruised from that shot like this. Like, I mean, this hurts. And honestly, like, she kind of blew me off. Like, well, I mean, you can put like a compress on it or something, but you know, that happens. And so I didn't really, you know, I mean, it kind of irritated me, like her response, maybe just because at the time, like, it just didn't seem like very sympathetic. And it was weird that I had like a big bruise. Well, I didn't really think about it. The bruise kind of faded, but the hard part didn't. And then like over the last like few days, or maybe the last few days of last week, I noticed that it like was sore, and it was like hard and kind of getting bigger. But where it was on my arm is not somewhere where I can just like turn my arm and see it. So I couldn't really see what it was. If I was laying down and put my hand above my head on my pillow, or if I laid on my arm a weird way, it hurt. It was very tender to the touch. Well, on Saturday, I kind of reached back on my arm to feel it, and it was like hot. And so I showed it to my mom and dad. We were sitting outside, and I said, hey, does this look like okay? And their eyes got big, and they were like, no, that doesn't look okay. So they took a picture of it, and basically I had this like round, like inflamed area around my arm, and it was hard. Like it was infected. Like it looked like it was infected, and it had that radiating heat. So Saturday, right? My oncologist is closed. I call the on-call number, and another oncologist called me back. And of course he did what I thought he would tell me to do. He told me I needed to go to the emergency room. It's Saturday late afternoon at this point. And I was like, I don't want to go to an emergency room. I have felt the worst that I have felt on chemo this time. I don't want to go to an emergency room on a Saturday night with a bunch of sick people that could get me sick. And so, you know, we kind of went back and forth on that. He was very, very nice. And he was giving me the right I mean, I knew that he was going to give me that advice. It was just advice that I didn't want to hear because, honestly, the ER, like, terrifies me right now. You know, I'm talking about a possible infection, and I know that, like, those kinds of things can really cause complications. They can postpone my chemo. I didn't want to put myself in that situation. I just wanted him to tell me I could take some Benadryl or something, which he did not do. You know, that's not on him. That's just what I wanted to hear. But he said, look, you know, it sounds like it's infected. That can be a problem. You need to get it looked at. Like, that's the only, you probably need an antibiotic. You know, you need to see what it is. And without me seeing it, you know, right now, like, I mean, that's what you need to do. If you don't go tonight, he understood why I didn't want to go. He told me that if I didn't go that night, to put a hot compress on it, see what that did, if it helped the swelling go down or the hard part go down. And so that's what we did. We put we put heat on it. And I was actually staying with my parents at that time. And, you know, it was Mother's Day weekend. And, you know, we got up in the middle of the night and checked it. It actually looked like, I mean, it got bigger. Like, as we were talking about all of this, like, it got bigger. And it you know, scary looking. So it didn't get better. So on Sunday morning, on Mother's Day, my mom and I really early got up and we went to the emergency room. And honestly, you know, I've had some really horrific experiences at the emergency room where it's like, you know, super long waits, or you know, with my son, I mean, at one point, you know, I thought I was having a miscarriage, and I was so early in the pregnancy that I had to go to the ER, and I had to wait for a long time. And that was, you know, it's just those kinds of things. It was just a terrible experience because the wait was so long and there's so many people there. Luckily, everything was good with my son, and he is wonderful. Anyways, I just had to clarify that everything went well. But at this point on Sunday when we went, we were worried because we had called the night before. The night before they had, you know, 5-6 hour wait. So we were just worried that we would kind of get that kind of situation. But when we got there, there weren't that many people in the ER, luckily, and they immediately triaged me. Honestly, like, I didn't have my hair on. I looked pretty rough, and my arm looked really bad. So, you know, I think that they were very aware of the fact that, like, I was pretty immunocompromised for an ER. They were great. They got me back into a private room relatively quickly. And the staff was wonderful, and the nurse was wonderful, and the doctor was wonderful. He ultrasound. They did all kinds of tests, blood tests and stuff like that. But, and at first, you know, the nurse had mentioned, like, that they were worried that it would, like, you know, sepsis was a concern. But that was ruled out, so that was good. The doctor did do an ultrasound of my arm, and there was an infection. So he did he drained it. He, like, got, like, a scalpel and cut it, and you can kind of see it, like, right, you can see my other bruises right there too. But where they cut, it doesn't, you know, it's like a little small cut, and they drained it out. It's still kind of red and looks gross, but it looks a lot better than it did, so that's a good thing. So they got that out, and they gave me an antibiotic. So I'm on an antibiotic. The antibiotic is extremely hard for me to swallow. It makes me gag. It's really hard for me to take the antibiotic, but I know, what's going on right here? But it's very important that I take it, so I am, but it's kind of a pain. Wig hair, don't care, I guess. So anyways, so yeah, so that infection is, you know, the complication. This may sound crazy, but that lady is not going to be my nurse again. And we're not going to have any more shots near my elbow. That was one of the things that a lot of the folks in the ER said, like, why would you give a shot, like, right by your elbow? That doesn't make any sense. And maybe it was the bruises, I don't know. But that was frustrating. It was a frustrating weekend having to deal with all of that. But luckily, we went in and we got it looked at, and it didn't spread. It was still localized. And as far as I know, everything should be good for the chemo and all of that. So that's pretty much the update from my last chemo. My next chemo is next Tuesday. That's number 5. What I will say, I'll probably film another video. The last video I filmed, I was talking about getting second opinions about surgery, which is coming up in July, hopefully. Since that time, I have met with another breast surgeon for a second opinion, and I'm actually sitting outside right now getting ready to go meet with another plastic surgeon that works with that breast surgeon on that second opinion. So I have thoughts about that, and I will probably share that in another video, but I just hadn't had the energy to film anything about how this time has gone. So I just wanted to jump in and just kind of give a rundown on how the last couple of weeks have gone. For those that are watching and following and praying, I appreciate it. The prayers are felt and needed. And you know, for those folks that are going through this treatment, I know I've had some folks that I don't even know, like, comment on my Instagram. This is not Instagram, on my YouTube page, and give encouragement that are, you know, years out or have just finished. And I love hearing those stories. If you've had this regimen and you have that nausea or the taste issue, please shoot me some of your remedies, because I feel like I've tried so many of them and they're not working. The taste thing is frustrating, because, you know, I like food. So, and this week I'm feeling a little bit better. I just can't taste the food, and man, I just want to like food again. I want to not be nauseous all the time, and, you know, be able to keep the things in my body. But it's just, I think that's just kind of par for the course for this. So anyways, I'm starting to ramble now, but I appreciate everybody that's, you know, been keeping my family in their prayers. And, you know, one of these days we're going to have a really uplifting video where we're not like, rah, 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 and that's going to be when we're not doing this chemo anymore, because this chemo makes it hard to stay positive, and sometimes that's okay. But all right, well, I'll let this go, and I'll give another update sometime this week about the surgery options. And until then, I hope everybody stays well and has a wonderful day, and we'll see you then. All right.